Hey guys, welcome back to Nerd Rage. This week we are finishing up our Venompool Origin series. We are doing part 4 and you do not want to miss it. If you haven't watched parts 1 through 3 yet, please go back and watch those because this will make no sense if you do not. But without further ado, let's get into it.
Nerd Rage. Chapter 4 begins with, yes, you guessed it, another Watcher stand-in. This one appears to be reporting from the red carpet of a movie premiere and looks a lot like Joan Rivers. God, the sheer amount of subtle pop culture references and poking fun at comic culture that Remender fit into this story is insane. But I digress. We're on the red carpet with, let's call her Sloane Ritters, and she says, I couldn't be more excited. We have tonight all of the hottest stars coming out for the highly anticipated, hotter than the sun premiere for the movie of the century. Venompool, the most important movie in the universe. VP comes strolling down the red carpet, a woman on each arm. Without this hero and his heroic deeds, none of us would even be here to enjoy this unveiling. We move to a profile shot of our anti-hero to see a crowd of heroes with Wolverine, of course, at the front, clapping and cheering for him. Sloane continues. They had been through hard times, Wade Wilson and his twisted symbiote pal, but they fought through and never gave up. Tonight, they were celebrated for their tenacity. Venompool and his dates become silhouettes as the movie starts to play. Venompool felt only one thing, not pride in the achievement, not the dignity born from helping others. He only felt a sort of sick joy for those he'd made envious of his accomplishments. Venompool's on the big screen leaping through what looks like space with the retcon expungifier in hand. Galactus, in the middle of heated battle with the Beyonder, yells, "Fool! You have destroyed Galactus's brunch planet!" Beyonder, quick to snap back, says, "Fear not, monster, for now you will have your fill. You will dine on suffering and defeat." Venompool interjects, Enough! Enough of your power tripping. You're both too powerful to exist and leave me only one course of action. I hereby expunge you from all continuity." In the next panel, VP is in the back of a convertible in a parade, and our narrator tells us, and he really did it. Just like in the movie, a race Beyonder and Galactus saved the Earth, saved us all. We're back in the movie theater and the crowd is applauding. VP thanks the crowd as Miss Ritters continues. Everything he'd ever wanted, adoration, attention for his deeds, he'd achieved absolute pertinence. Venompool walks out of the premiere to get badgered by a barrage of reporters and cameramen. One reporter asks, "Now that you've got the #1 movie in the world you saved, how do you feel?" VP says, "I don't know. Okay, I guess." Sloane tells us, though he had become very relevant and very important, something was still missing. We cut to Thor, leaving the premiere. Reporters hound him. "Thor! Over here, Thor! Can I get an exclusive about your relationship with Hela?" Back to Sloane. Venompool knew finally what the problem was. VP glares at Thor as the reporters flock to him. Other people were still getting attention as well. We see Thor, helmet in hand, walking into a stall in a public restroom with our narrator saying, he went to contemplate for days. There was only one way to get all that he deserved. To wipe out anyone capable of similar heroic deeds. VP steals Mjolnir from under the stall and kills Thor, shouting, "There can be only one Highlander!" Venompool walks out of the restroom with Mjolnir victorious as Thor's body smolders in the destroyed bath stall. With Wasp on his shoulder, Captain America's shield in one hand and Mjolnir in the other, Scarlet Witch, Elektra, Rogue, and Storm groveling at his feet, Venompool stands tall and over a field of destruction with our narrator saying, "Over the next year, Venompool killed them all, every hero, every villain, leaving only the very attractive alive. For adoration purposes. He became the world's only and thus most important superhero. The subway is packed and everyone is reading about Venompool as our narrator continues. And oh, how he mattered. He starred in every movie, television program, book, and magazine. His adventures were bigger and more important than anyone's had ever been. Everything he did had a ripple effect on the world. He really, really mattered." Venompool has taken the White House as his own and decorated the yard with bodies hung on X's as he screams from the roof, "Suck it, world! I'm the best! Now you see!" Our narrator says, instead, It was an opportunity to decry all those who opposed him along the way to becoming king of the world. He would spend his victory lap consumed by their impressions of him, given over to ego, mired in petty rivalry. Venompool, now on the set of a Maury-like TV show, says, "The Beyonder? A real tool. Let me give you the 411 on him." Our Maury-looking TV show host says, "You erased him and he doesn't exist anymore. Disparaging him now, when you have so much? It seems, well, tacky." We cut to an obviously pissed Venompool with destruction behind him growling, "Turn off the camera!" Miss Ritter saying, crushed under the weight of long past rejection and a desperate insecurity that no success could quell, his ego grew to compensate. With no consequences for his action, his true fabric could now be exposed. Now Venompool is in what appears to be a throne room in the Oval Office with a reporter recording saying, "Well, the thing about the Beyonder was just, he wasn't an innovator. All that power, but still shackled to the mainstream, incapable of being as amazing as I am. He couldn't do any of the super inventive stuff like what I've done. I'm really the best, and now everyone has to see that." Back to our narrator. Everyone did. Everyone but Venompool. He was empty. Even now, nothing made him feel like the success he'd worked so hard to become. Venompool is lounging on a trace, talking to what seems to be a psychiatrist who says, "It was very important to you, the external validation. All your life, you never knew why the world conspired to make you feel so bad about yourself." Venompool says, "That's right, Doc. They made me feel that way. The Beyonder dared to. He abandoned me." Now we see Doc Samson and realize he's VP's psychiatrist, and he says, "Normally what we find in these situations is that the person with the victim complex was cast out because of his own behavior. Most often, when someone doesn't like who they are, they mask the fact with a wall of arrogance and ego." Doc Samson continues, "It's a defense from the world, which usually turns into a weapon against the world as well. It's quite common for someone who feels persecuted to be blind to the reality that, well, he's just a jerk who no one wants to be around." The doc says, placing a hand on Venompool's shoulder, much to VP's disgust. Next thing we see, VP's walking out of the office with a still smoldering Doc Samson behind him. He really likes charring people to a crisp this week, doesn't he? Anyways, our narrator tells us, something Doc Samson said before Venompool removed his head had hit home. We see VP storming down the street as people literally bow to his feet. He had focused on all the wrong things. His story was about upward ascension, conquest, and acceptance. Venompool walks up to a house, looking distraught while Sloan continues. He finally had the answer to all his woes. The true key to pertinence. What he should have focused on was living a compelling life. We see Venompool open a drawer with the retcon expungifier in it. To grow and evolve as a human, learning from his mistakes, becoming a better person for its own sake, even when no one was watching, perhaps adopting a moral, philosophical point of view. Venompool opens a window and leans out. Venompool finally learned to do the one thing most paramount, being true to who you are. VP points the retcon expungifier at us. Unfortunately for the rest of us, his true self was an unredeemable ass. The screen begins to wide out. Instead of doing all the other crap, what with the learning and thinking, he just erased the entire universe. More white, like an eraser on a whiteboard, including me. So I guess that makes this the end.
Well, that's it. The thrilling conclusion to Venompool. He does make a few more appearances here and there in the past recent years, but that is the origin. Now, if you enjoyed that, please make sure you like, subscribe to my channel, and of course comment. As always, I will read them and do my best to get back to everyone on your comments. Join us back on our next episode where we're talking about Amalgam Comics, the crazy mashed up world of DC and Marvel that had characters on characters, and they just did awesome stuff with it. I'm going to be giving you my top 7 characters for that one. It is fantastic. You do not want to miss it. Until then, peace!